We are continuing our coverage from the PDAC here in Toronto, Canada. Joining me now is Nolan Watson, CEO of Sandstorm Gold. Nolan, thanks so much for being with me today.
Oh, thank you.
Nolan, let's talk about Entrée Gold. I know offline we were saying, well, you were saying how this might go down as one of the greatest deals in history. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, it's one of those transactions where you have to take a long-term view on something. There's not really going to be any cash flow for 10 years. There's a few issues with the Mongolian government. Those have to get sorted out. But if they do, I do believe that this has the potential to go down in history as the best streaming deal ever done. There's just millions and millions and millions of ounces of gold on that property, and we get a big chunk of it in our stream.
What do you look for when you're selecting a company? How do you know it could have potential?
Yeah. Well, normally what we're looking for actually is giving companies money to go build their mine. Right. So it's usually very close to production. So this is definitely a one-off. We've never done anything like this before, and candidly, probably isn't anything to do like this again. So this is a one-off, but we're looking for companies with low cost of production, ready to build their mine, permitted. This one just came along on a truly world-class asset, and we had to take the opportunity.
But isn't the Entrée Gold deal over a longer period of time? Isn't it until like 2021, I believe? Or
yeah, so it's actually the same part of the deposit of Oyu Tolgoi right. That's in Mongolia. It's just that deposit tips onto Entrée's joint venture ground, and so it's going to take about 9 years of mining until they get to that part of the property. But it's the same mine, it's the same mill.
Okay, so until what year you think you'll be...
Probably about 9-10 years from now.
9-10 years from now. Okay, so Nolan, let's talk about Sandstorm right now. Obviously, the stock taking a bit of a hit, 20% down, I believe. Do you still have the same conviction and passion that you did when the stock was 30% up?
Yeah, absolutely. This is one of those businesses where I've been extolling the virtues to our shareholders for quite some time, which is when things get bad, when the market prices of all the stocks come down, and they're all coming down right now, but when that happens, companies like Sandstorm, we have positive cash flow. So we're making millions and millions of dollars. We're going to continue to have that cash flow ramp up over time, and we're going to deploy that cash into new companies, into new acquisitions and new streams. And so we're going to grow our business in this market. This is a fantastic time to be a company like Sandstorm.
Nolan, what do you think caused the share price to dip?
Well, obviously the market came down, so the gold price came down. Mining stocks in general started coming down. We announced a transaction into a market where you don't want to announce anything in a downward trending market, but we had the opportunity to do a good deal. We took it. And then finally, we've actually had some warrant money coming in. So just in the last week, we've had $9 million of net selling from people exercising warrants. So whenever you're doing that into a downward trending market, it hurts. That's temporary. That's going to abate. And the fundamentals are really, really strong, and we're making lots of money.
Okay, so obviously I'm sensing optimism from you.
Absolutely.
We are at the PDAC. What sentiment are you sensing from other CEOs?
Well, if you're a junior company and you only have $100,000 of cash in your bank, or in some cases your working capital is negative, you're pretty depressed right now, to be candid. It's a really tough market for those companies, and there are lots of them. There's probably half the companies or more here have less than $200,000 or $300,000 of cash in their balance sheet, so they're pretty depressed. On the flip side, though, there are a reasonable number of companies here that have cash in their balance sheet. They've got cash flow from operations, and they're looking to make acquisitions, and things have never been cheaper on the acquisition front. So those companies and those CEOs are actually, they're walking around pretty happy. So it's a complete dichotomy of depressed people and happy people, and it's an interesting time in the market.
Nolan, let me ask you this. I was speaking to one of our seasoned geologists that we speak to often here on Kitco News, who mentioned that he expects 600 juniors to disappear from the scene by June 2013. What do you think of that kind of statement?
Well, I definitely agree with the statement that a lot of juniors are going to disappear. They just will. There's just not enough money for them to go around. They're either going to go insolvent or merge. 600, I don't think it's going to be 600. I think it might be 100 or 200.
Okay. Nolan, finally, are you optimistic for the industry as a whole?
In the long term, I'm very optimistic. I'll be candid, though. In the short term to medium term, I am moderately pessimistic. There are a lot of fundamentals behind the industry that are taking a bit of a hit right now, but all of the long-term story that has caused me to believe in gold and to believe in the commodity cycle, I think it's still there longer term, and so I am optimistic.
Nolan, obviously you're one of the youngest CEOs, probably maybe the youngest CEO here. How does that factor in? How do you feel?
Well, I think it's good in the sense that I'm the type of guy who I'm still really want to work hard. I'm not 5 years from retirement. I'm hopefully 50 years from retirement. Right. And so I've got a lot to prove. I want to work hard. I work harder than the average CEO, I think. But at the same time, I have to take a certain amount of humility with it. I've only been in the industry for 11 years, and I need to know that there are things that I don't know yet. So what I do is I build people around me at Sandstorm that are world-class, guys that are 60 years old, that are the best in the world at what they do, and I trust them. And that's how I run the business.
Nolan, I just had one more question for you. Are you bullish on gold?
Long term, I'm bullish on gold. Medium term, I'm moderately bearish.
Moderately bearish for how long?
Let's go 18 months.
18 months. Yeah. Based on what?
Just based on, I think the United States is in a lot of trouble. They're going to have to print a lot of dollars. I think for a good period of 12 to 18 to 24 months, people are going to be surprised at how long the U.S. government can kick the can down the road and fool people that everything's okay.
Nolan, thanks so much for your thoughts today.
Thank you.
And thanks for watching our coverage on Kitco News. We'll have more for you on kitco.com. In the meantime, you can email me any comments or questions at newsfeedback@kitco.com or follow this conversation at Daniela Cambone. Thanks for watching.